Hi, Ben. Met you last year in Western New York, and good to be in the air with you.
Same, thank you. What's going on?
Well, I'm just calling to tell you how much money you just saved me in pain and suffering.
Okay, how so?
Well, back in 2004, I had a bowel restriction, and it's actually a perforated bowel, and I was diagnosed with Crohn's at that time.
Okay.
And it just happened again last week. And last time I went to the hospital, I had an $80,000 debt, to say nothing of all the pain and suffering.
$80,000, you said?
$80,000. I was there for a month and a half.
Oh, my God.
Although I have to say, the surgeon was pretty good. He wanted to wait to do surgery and let me fast for a while and see if it cleared up, and it just never did.
Okay.
But this time I fasted on my own.
Okay.
And I did all the supplements she told me about, some of the ones that help the gut, the aloe vera, slippery elm, enzymes, NAC.
Nice.
A whole bunch of stuff. And it cleared up, and I have no fever anymore. I don't feel like I have a knife stuck in my gut anymore.
Isn't that awesome, Rob? Isn't that awesome?
It's absolutely awesome.
That's why I do this, Rob. That's why I do this. What you're experiencing, anybody can experience because all our bodies are the same. Thank you so much for sharing that, by the way. Do you have any questions? Anything I can help you with? You just want to share that?
Yeah, I'm not quite out of the woods yet. I'd like to know what else I can do to help patch this thing up a little more.
A couple things. First of all, always link. You're so smart because the fasting, you can't have a digestive health condition, whether it's Crohn's or celiac or ulcerative colitis or whatever it is. You can't have a digestive health crisis if you don't have any food in your digestive system. So fasting is always the first thing to do. Next thing you want to do, and that's so congratulations on that, but it's just common sense, isn't it, Rob? You don't have any food in there. Right? What? You don't need surgery? Well, you need a doctor to tell you this? You need to spend $80,000? And congratulations, by the way, Rob. That's awesome that you saved $80,000. But you know how many people are spending $80,000 or $100,000 or they're staying in the hospital or they're on prednisone? And their boneheaded doctor is doing diagnostic test after diagnostic test, and all they got to do is figure out what food they're eating or eliminate foods. So are you on a probiotic supplement, Rob?
Sure am.
Okay. Which one are you on? The Nightly Essence?
Garden of Life, and I do also a fermented food.
Good for you. Okay, so stay on that. Try to get yourself 50 to 100,000 IU, or I'm sorry, 50 to 100 billion units. 50 to 100 billion units of bacteria, whatever brand you want to use. I like the Biolumin Nightly Essence, but Garden of Life is good too. And by the way, Jordan Rubin, who formulated the Garden of Life products, is now part of the Longevity family. He's got some great probiotic-enriched products. He calls his company Beyond Organics. It's now part of the Longevity family of products. And for you guys interested in digestive health, Jordan is the go-to resource for all things digestive, and his formulations are spectacular. I've been eating the Beyond Organic cheese now for 6 or 7 months, and it is fantastic. It's probiotic enriched. He's got other really neat products for the digestive system, including the Suero V fermented whey product and the Amasai as well. So you might want to try those. And then the fermented foods, stick with those. Apple cider vinegar after all your meals is probably a good idea. And then liquid nutrition. When you have a problem with your digestive system, Rob, it's one thing to help heal the gut and to do all the strategies that we talk about for helping heal the gut, aloe and noni, and I think you said slippery elm, that can also help as well, mucilaginous herbs. But you also want to make sure you're getting your nutrients, because you may become malnourished because you're not absorbing your nutrients, especially your fatty nutrients. So go liquid nutrition, especially liquid protein, and if you can do liquid, you can make sure you're getting your fatty nutrients in supplement form. That's probably a good idea too. Bone soup is a great way to get liquid protein. If you can do whey smoothies. If you have a hard time with whey, use hemp seed protein. Liquefying your protein is very important, because protein is probably the hardest of all the nutrients to get, and amino acids. A protein has to be broken down into amino acids. You may not be doing that. So liquid protein, bone soup, whey protein smoothies, and also hemp seed protein smoothies. Those can be helpful for you. Oils are going to be important. Coconut oil is good, but also your ultimate EFAs, essential fatty acid liquids. You also want to put a little bit of nutritional oil in with your salads and with your vegetables to help your body access some of those some of those phytonutrients, which are going to be hard for you to access if you have digestive problems. Personally, I like butter on cauliflower and broccoli and Brussels sprouts, braising or grilling your vegetables or steaming your vegetables. You don't want to do them too much. With butter, it can help you get some of those phytonutrients out. Also, you want to make sure you're getting 20,000 IU of vitamin A a day, 400 IU of vitamin E every day. Make sure you're getting enough sunshine to get your vitamin D. You might want to try vitamin D supplements. 5,000 international units a day of vitamin D, and then maybe 5,000 micrograms a day of vitamin K2. That can be helpful for you, in addition to your essential fatty acids from the Ultimate EFAs. Something that's a lot of folks don't recognize, we talk about it here periodically on this program, is minerals. A lot of your minerals, anyway, are processed through the fat absorption system, specifically selenium and zinc. There's a very important relationship between zinc and vitamin A. So making sure you're getting 50 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate with your vitamin A is probably a good idea, and zinc is super duper important for the digestive system also. And then the Ultimate Selenium, I'd be doing 200 to 400, even up to 600 micrograms of the Ultimate Selenium a day. Stay away from anything that messes up the sugar balance in the gut, and that means fructose especially. A lot of folks who have digestive problems also have fructose problems. Be very careful of fruits, and certainly you want to stay away from high fructose corn syrup. And then last but most certainly not least, get yourself on a good dose of fiber. There's a lot of ways to do it. I like veggie juices. I have a Vitamix, and I make a veggie juice every day with fresh veggies, and that'll get you fiber, especially fiber that can help support probiotics in the gut. You might also want to get a coffee grinder and grind up fresh flax seeds every day, and then you'll get some essential fats with your fiber as well, and you can put that in your smoothie, and that's a good way to get fiber as well as your essential fats. Lots and lots you could do, and then last but most certainly not least, the less you eat, the longer you will live. In general, that's for everybody, but especially if you have a digestive health problem. Rob, only eat when you're hungry. I know that sounds like, a no-brainer, but so many times we eat psychologically and socially and emotionally and mentally. Only eat when you're really, really hungry. We all need to do that, but especially if you're dealing with a digestive health issue. And thanks so much for sharing that, Rob. That's really, really awesome news.
Listen, my friend, my husband has Crohn's, and and he's on prednisone and has been.
And it's helping him a lot, probably. It's cured his Crohn's disease, right? No?
Well, we only wish that would be a cure.
Really? Oh, so yes, but.
Our problem is now because he's not getting any better. I mean, we've got him upright, and the swelling's down, and we only have him on 10 milligrams of prednisone, where we used to have him on 60.
60 milligrams. That's huge. That's a huge dose.
It is huge, my friend. Okay. And it causes a lot of problems inside the body, which we're fighting those as well. I listen to you every day, and I get a lot of really good advice about the GI tract. However,
yes,
I just found out yesterday that prednisone is wiping out his intestinal flora.
Isn't that intelligent? Isn't that an intelligent medical strategy that doctors use?
It really pisses me off.
Of course it does.
To be honest
you should have your own show then, because it pisses me off too, and that's why I do this.
Yeah.
It really ticks me off. How dare a boneheaded... They give you prednisone for your Crohn's disease, which destroys your digestive system, which is what Crohn's disease does. This is the numbskull nature of our modern medical model. All right, I don't want to get all freaked out here, so let's just cut to the chase.
I know. I've heard you many times talk about it. And it's
absurd.
Always scared us. And I do my own fermenting. I do all his own cooking. He doesn't eat anything unless I give it to him from what I make with my research and all, of course, you and Dr. Wolick's help.
Okay.
Now,
you want me to help you out here? Let me just cut to the chase here. I'll help you.
I absolutely need your help, my friend.
Crohn's disease is an eating disease. It's just a digestive tract issue. Now, I'm assuming your husband's probably in his 50s or 60s at this point, correct?
My husband's 48 years old.
Okay, so he's got some time. He's got decades of kind of messing up the digestive tract, and it's going to take some time to turn this thing around completely, but he can begin to turn it around right away. First and foremost, if I was him, I'm just telling you what I would be doing. I'd be fasting for a couple of days and then starting to reintroduce foods to resensitize the body to these foods, or resensitize his perception In other words, he'll notice things more. If he's eating the same foods over and over and over again, he may not be noticing the effects those specific foods are having on his specific symptoms. But if he stops eating for a couple days, then reintroduces those foods, that's going to resensitize his awareness or his perception to what the foods are doing to his body. Does that make sense? You do it over and over.
I heard you talk about that, but I heard you also say we needed to drink something while we're doing that.
Water for a couple days. For your husband at the age of 48 with Crohn's disease. And by the way, for the listeners, you can't imagine anything more miserable to have to go through than Crohn's disease, where you're always looking for a bathroom, and you've got diarrhea all the time, and cramping and bloating and pain, and it's just I can't think of a more miserable curse to have to deal with on a regular basis. That's for the listeners. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about here. So you want stopping, as soon as he stops eating, he's going to the healing process will immediately kick in. All right, even between meals, the healing process will kick in. But if he stops eating for a couple of days, then he's going to get some good healing. At least it'll begin. Then you start to reintroduce foods. Now, if he wants to do the Swear V cleanse, that can kind of get him through the fasting procedure. If he finds it difficult to fast, do 6 bottles a day, a bottle every half hour, 6 bottles a day, and that'd be 6 bottles a day if it's a 12-hour day, a bottle every half hour, and that'll get him through 2 or 3 days of fasting. Then he reintroduces
a bottle of water.
No, Swear V. Swear V. Oh. It's a Swear V. It's a Beyond Organic product that you'll find on my website. It's called Swear V. I just completed a 3-day fast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of last week, and it was a breeze. It was super easy using the Swear V. Okay. So that's first of all. Now, if he fasts for 2 or 3 days, he's going to find immediate relief. Immediate relief. That alone is going to make a huge difference. Now, once he starts,
but Crohn's people are afraid of that.
Doesn't matter if he's afraid of it. Is he afraid of Crohn's? You know, which is better? Which is better?
Well, you don't know. When you're sick, you don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is my recommendation. He can do whatever he wants. Okay. My recommendation is he doesn't put anything in the system. Think about it this way: you're constantly bombarding the system with foods, the intestine with foods, and Crohn's disease is an intestinal issue. You're constantly putting foods in. When does the intestine have a chance to recover?
Never. I've
Never.
been telling him this.
Exactly. So we got to give him.
They're afraid.
Well, I can't help him with that. I'm not a hypnotist. You know, I can't help him with his fear. I can only give you some recommendations for nutrition and food. If he's afraid, he's afraid. Right. God love him. Right. You know, there's nothing I can do about that. Right. So anyway, and this is not just for you, by the way. It's for anybody listening who has Crohn's issues. It's very simple. This is the bottom line. It's an eating disorder. Stop eating. The disorder will improve. Now, you obviously have to keep eating. You can't not eat forever. But if you stop eating for a little bit, a couple of days, 3 days, and if you fast 1 day a week or 2 days a week, it's not going to hurt you, and your body will have a chance to recover. The liquid portion the liquid part, which you alluded to, is very important, because if he can spend more of his calories or get more of his calories from liquid nutrients, that also is going to reduce the load on the digestive tract. This is what we're doing here. We're reducing the burden. You see what I'm saying? We're reducing the load on the digestive tract. Picture his intestine as a baby who's been traumatized, a baby who's been a World War II baby. You know, you ever watch these old documentaries on World War II? You'll see little kids, and they've been traumatized the rest of their life. They spent their whole life traumatized. That's what your husband's intestine is like. It's like a baby who's traumatized. So what do you do when a baby's traumatized? You cuddle it, you nurture it, you love it, you reduce all the stresses and burdens from the baby, so the baby can calm down. Well, your husband's intestine is like a baby. It needs to be calmed down. The next important thing is fermented foods and probiotics. I'd be using sounds like you're already doing that. If he's not on the Biolumin Nightly Essence, though, you might want to try that one. That's my favorite probiotic. 3 capsules in the morning, 3 at night. If he's not on the Fucoidan Z, it's a must-have for Crohn's disease. Okay.
Okay, wait a minute. Z.
Fucoidan Z. Fucoidan Z. I'll spell it for you. Okay. I'll spell it. It's F as in Frank, U as in Uncle, C as in Cat, O as in Oscar, I as in Igloo, D as in David, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, Z. Fucoidan Z. It's made with brown algae, which contains fucoidan, which has a wonderful stimulating effect on the cells of the intestine. It can help accelerate healing. It also has a nice coating effect on the digestive system, and that'll help soothe and improve the functioning and the health of the digestive tract. And along those same lines, aloe vera and noni can also help. You can get some noni juice off my website at brightsideben.com. You can use aloe juice as well. Both of those have a nice coating and soothing effect. Essential fatty acids, EFAs, mega important for digestive health, especially the health of the intestine. He should be using 9 capsules a day. If he has a problem absorbing his essential fatty acids, then have him use those with digestive enzymes. The Ultimate Enzymes are a good digestive enzyme. And always wash down your Ultimate Enzymes with apple cider vinegar. Anything he could do to pre-digest his food, and by that I mean grinding them up in a blender or a food processor or using smoothies. Also, bone soup has a wonderful effect on the digestive tract as well. Basically, you're taking it easy on the digestive system. Last but not least, the Healthy Start Pack. Sipping, and that's very important for people with Crohn's disease, sipping on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, not trying to do it all at once. If he notices, and sometimes people with Crohn's disease will notice that they have bile issues or problems absorbing fatty substances, then he's going to want to use some lecithin with all his meals, as well as perhaps some bile salts. And I mentioned it once, but I'll say it again. Make sure he's using some apple cider vinegar after all his meals as well. Basically, you're taking the load or the burden off of his intestine, allowing his intestine to heal and recover, and using nutrients that help soothe the intestine, as well as improve the production or the health of the cells of the intestine. One last thing, I know I gave you a lot of information, but one last thing, glutamine powder. Glutamine is like fuel for enterocytes. Enterocytes is the fancy way of saying digestive cells or intestinal cells. And glutamine powder functions specifically as fuel, as gasoline, as energy, as food, as nutrition, specifically for the cells of the intestine. So maybe a half a teaspoonful to a teaspoonful of glutamine powder stirred up in water and drink it once a day. That alone can make a huge difference for digestive health issues. And by the way, that's by no means comprehensive, even though I gave you a ton of information. There's lots more you can do, but that's a great start for you, okay? Thanks for calling.
A lot of this that I have been doing, been running down his food and stuff, making his digestive tract not have to work so hard, giving him regular foods, easy to digest foods, that kind of stuff.
Any improving? Are you noticing that it's helping his symptoms? That's the key.
It is, but I need to get his intestinal flora back, and I'm not sure how to do that other than what you just said.
Get a book called The Art.
Symptoms down. Symptoms down.
Hang on, Sherry, I got to go. We're running out of time, but let me tell you one last thing. Get a book called The Art of Fermentation. The Art of Fermentation. It's a wonderful cookbook with lots of great recipes. It's really easy to understand, easy to use, and it can give you some great ideas for fermented foods, making your own fermented foods, The Art of Fermentation. All right, Todd, what's going on? Todd in Oregon, welcome to the Bright Side.
Hey, Ben, staying along the lines of your digestive health conversation, hey, I have a cousin that has Crohn's disease and bowel inflammation, and he doesn't seem to listen to me. And right now he's going through the typical medical model protocol, which is the prednisone, the infusion.
That just breaks my heart. What do you got to bring me down for here, Todd? What's going on?
I know. It brings me down because he doesn't listen to me, and I'm giving him your advice.
It's terrible. It's heartbreaking, dude. It's so heartbreaking, Todd.
I'm hoping he's going to listen.
Crohn's disease is an eating disease, period. End of story. Eating disease. You've got to change the way you eat and patch up the gut. It's so easy. You can have Crohn's disease is like all diseases. And I said this, I did a talk here last week in Santa Cruz, last weekend in Santa Cruz. I said, there's no disease. There's disease-ing. Put an ing at the end, and that turns the noun into a verb. Why is that important? Because if it's a verb, it means it's an action. Verbs are actions. If it's an action, that means we're doing something. It's actually a reaction. So we got to figure out what we're doing. With Crohn's disease, it's an eating disease. You got to change the way you eat. If he fasts, he gets immediate relief. Immediate. Use the glucogel caps, the Fucoid Z, the Biolumin Nightly Essence, digestive enzymes after all meals, apple cider vinegar, fermented foods. These are all incredibly powerful strategies. You marginalize them at your own risk. And Todd, my friend, if your cousin, I think you said, or your friend, whoever it was, if he wants to go to the doctor and be medicalized, more power to him. Jesus loves everybody. Even people who go to the doctor and just waste their time and take prescription drugs that shorten their lives. God loves everybody. So I don't ever tell anybody what to do if they want to go to the medical model. But I'm telling you, there's nothing they can do. On the other hand, there's everything you can do, we can do. We don't need doctors for our health, and there is no relationship between medicine and health. Medicine is a distinct subject. Medicine is important for shutting things down. Occasionally, that's necessary. Medicine is important for stitching things back on. Occasionally, that's necessary. And medicine, of course, is occasionally important for killing bacteria and infectious microbes. Other than that, medicine is not health. We got to get that through our heads because it's not serving us. This is why we're the most medicalized culture in the history of the planet and the sickest simultaneously.